Well, thank you for tuning back into my channel. Today I wanted to talk about what it was like growing up as a psychic child. Um, what was it like? Was there hard times? Was it easier? When did the paranormal or the weird stuff start, etc., etc.? So, I want to go all the way back to when I was in the womb, when my mother was pregnant with me. Um, she had a dream of a lion, like a giant male lion, next to a river or water, maybe a lake, and the lion, had spoke to her telepathically, meaning not with the voice or sign language, but transferring frequencies back and forth with the brain. And he had told her about me. It was basically an introduction to who I was, what she was to do with me, or how I was to be. She just could not remember everything that he said. Plus, that happened like 30 years ago, so, so I guess it's okay for her to forget. But she had told my grandmother's boyfriend at the time, about the dream, and he had told her that I was going to be a really special child or something. Either way, that I was going to have particular abilities. So after I was born, she started to herself have her own spiritual experiences with things happening around her, lights, voices, just the regular phenomena that we all are pretty much used to having. As I got older and I started to speak, I was constantly speaking to other people. It was not just her and my grandmother that I was speaking to. It was like I had friends. I had a whole nother world of people that I interacted with, like on a daily, regular basis, right there in front of them. Also, I had, which I did some research on this, a lot of children all over the world has had particular experiences with the Hat Man. It could be a shadow man that appears with a top hat. It could be just a man with a top hat. But I've noticed that there's a significance with young children and having visits from this man. He was protective. He was a friend to me. So I do believe he is like that with the other children. I was always talking about my friend in the hat, the guy in the hat, and my grandmother and my mom were watching television one night, and it was some mysteries stuff, and the little 5-year-old girl had woken up her whole family, to get out of the house because it was burning down. None of them were, they could smell the smoke or what, they were asleep. She woke up in the middle of the night and woke them all up and rushed them out of the house. When they later asked her, like, how did you know? She said, well, my friend with the big hat had told me. He woke me up to come and save you. And that was, a little bit of confirmation that maybe I wasn't just completely making things up, or if I was connecting with people all over the world. So, I had an experience that I remember in the St. Anne's Church where I had seen spirits. And St. Anne's Roundup was like a place where we went to see a bunch of Christmas lights every year. There was like little activities here and there, but it was just mostly lights. The church was really beautiful, but I could see spirits inside of the church. There was also a lot of other people in the church, and I had told my mom about them because the spirits were like a level higher than what everybody else was. And I was just like, that's kind of weird. They need to come down from there. And I was 5 years old, maybe 4. And she had told her brother, who he's a psychic. He has always had visions, been able to see and talk to people, etc. Has visits through his dreams, also during the day. And he told her, that's when he told her, she's an indigo child. You need to do your research and look up indigo children, which I hadn't heard the word indigo child until like 2012. My mom actually didn't do the research then. She didn't have any resources to find the information. Later on in my life, I'm skipping a whole bunch, I actually had a dream about that lion. And he's a lot more than just a lion. Like, it's not a spirit of a lion. I will get more into what and who that being particularly is who, where, it gets really, really strange. And there are layers, like everybody likes to reference it like an onion, and that was something I did naturally. Like, this is like an onion, and once you reach one spiritual level, like, you're just preparing yourself constantly for the next one and the next one, and as you get higher in spirituality, like, more worlds will open up to you. So if you are just hearing things there and here, and you want to understand more, give it time. Work on yourself. It'll come to you naturally when you are ready to go through it, when you are ready to be exposed to it and have those energies around you. It'll come. Growing up as a psychic child, it was hard for me to make friends a lot. I didn't really want to be friends with a lot of people. A lot of people lie. I could always tell when someone was lying, and if I couldn't, I could see my guides behind you, like, so it was like, I'm not gonna believe you. Like, you could be telling me that you think you're telling me the truth, but you're even lying to yourself. I kind of hated it because I felt like a human lie detector, and instead of giving people the benefit of the doubt and just enjoying their company or something, it was always like right there on surface. Things that they were guilty of or things that they were lying about was just right there on surface for me. And even if I didn't say anything about it, I could still feel it and see it off of these people. So I would just stay to myself, because I had started to go to school at a Christian school at first, and I was always in trouble for asking questions. We're just really disconnected from our spirituality and the other worlds that live within these worlds that exist on top, on side, underneath, everything. And it's all mushed together, and it all exists at the same time. And we have been so culturally conditioned that we can't see it. Our senses has been dulled. Really, they're just dull. You can see, I think people lie to themselves every day, just to feel safe, because it's scary. It can be scary. What we've learned about it is scary. The movies we've watched, scary. Yeah. So, growing up, it was not what y'all would think, like, oh yeah, I bet you had it easy because you were psychic, and that really makes me, like, irritated. It wasn't, no, you got looked at like you were the crazy kid. You were the only one that talked about aliens. You were the only one that talked about ghosts. Like, you were looked at like the freak. It caught up later, though. Like, those same people, they ask questions later on. It all catches up. What I'm doing is, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you about things. I'm not going to pretend like one thing is what it's not, just to make you feel comfortable with your little bubble that you live in. That bubble is about to be popped. Anyways, I wanted to talk about, like, having a childhood with extrasensory, like having different senses and being able to see other things that people couldn't. Like, I would draw them out. I was one of those typical children. I would draw out the family thing, and I would add extra people. Why'd you add those 3 men? Well, they're always in the house. I had invisible friends, just like some kids do, and I was interacting with them for a couple of years. Sat with me in the buggy, sat with me next to the car. We ate dinner together, things like that, and I kept this up for a long time, longer than what longer than the normal time that children keep up with invisible friends. So there are weary cases of invisible friends with children. Don't ever rule out anything that could be medically going on just because you're pushing it off as paranormal. If we're past it, then we're past it. Meaning, if your child is having seizures, do not try to give them an exorcism. So we will get into that in another video. I have so much to talk about. I have so much to share with everybody. I had a lot of dreams growing up of things that would come true, and they would happen like within time after. So my mom, she would listen to me talk about these dreams, and then she would witness them happen later on. So there wasn't like a lot of question there. Apparently, I used to freak my dad like way, way out. My stepfather. Apparently, I was really serious and quiet too. But I thought I was playful and happy. But my parents and my grandmother said that I was just really quiet and serious. Um, I'll talk about more experiences that I've had as time goes on. It really started to kick up like whenever I was an adolescent and going into adulthood and stuff like that. There was a time period where like it was all just really calm, and that was probably because I was just focused on other things. Like there was so much going on, but it's always cycled back. It's always led me back to spirit. Everything that's ever happened in my life has always, I found a roadblock. There was always roadblocks. And I would go around it and it would be like, wow, look at this path. It's like a spiritual path again. Every single time. So I'm done avoiding that path, and I'm here and I'm on it. And you're going to learn everything that I've learned or everything that I know. Because I don't want to see everybody else continue to fail living the way that we have been living in society, the way that we do, because it is all strange. And we've been lied to. And they've pretty much brainwashed us since birth. Not your parents. Your parents have no part of it. They're part of what happened to you is the same thing that happened to them. This started well before them. This started well before your grandparents. Like, all of this, it's just we've kept it, we've continued it on, and we have finally reached a point where it's stopping, where it's changing. And that has been scheduled for a very, very, very long time. This pandemic was not a surprise to me. I knew it was going to happen. It was, time. It was time. I just didn't know what would happen as it started to happen. I am very aware that there are a lot of people struggling right now because they are going through the awakening, and it is hard. Going down the spiritual path, learning about yourself and healing is not a piece of cake, and it can ultimately, you can run from it or you could try to die from it. Like it happens. People all over the place, they can't take it. They start to face themselves and they don't want to. So I want to help everybody go through this. I want to help everybody get through this, plus, help you along the way. And the only way that I know to help people get through the awakening is by admitting the truths that I know and sharing them with everybody else. So, my next video, tune in. If you liked or related to anything in this video, let me know in the comment section below. Like this video because I want you to. And just do it for a YouTube algorithm, blah, 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 blah. But also, my next video I've already started to work on. This was just a quick one that I had promised after the last one. I will be giving you 3 ways to raise your vibration, your frequency, your spirituality, what works for me, what worked for me fast, and why it works. And yeah, it's going to be really informative. You're going to love it. Yeah. I'll see you.